All right, thank you once again, everyone. It's time to take your respective seats. Now we have a session 1, Demystifying AI for Fintech Professionals. This panel discussion will be moderated by Muhammad Salman Anjum, founder and CEO of InvoiceMate from UAE. Let's all welcome our esteemed panelist, Wang, Senior Executive Officer, Changer.ae from UAE, Karim, Khattar, Chief Strategy Officer, Flow48 from UAE, Hamid, Director of Growth, Luna PR from UAE, Jonathan, CEO and co-founder, Unsensible from Singapore, Amira Soliman, founder and CEO, Time Guardian from UAE. I welcome you all on the stage. Over to you, moderator.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, thanks, Gustavo, for wonderful.
How are you doing?
All good. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Good to see you.
Yeah, so we'll be shifting our attention from another emerging technology that is disrupting fintech or financial services, that is from blockchain to AI. I'm sure there is a lot of hype, a lot of news you've been reading about AI, its use case, DeepSeek in the last 2-3 days. If no one has ever heard about generative AI, DeepSeek has made it sure that everyone needs to now be giving a good consideration to the AI, and especially in financial services. What a fast-paced adoption. Yeah, blockchain has adoption, but it always is a back-end kind of a back-office kind of a technology, so adoption will always be a bit slow. AI, 88% adoption in financial services in last just 6 months. Just last 6%, 88% increase, right? And that's like huge. So this is what we will be talking about with this esteemed panel. My name is Muhammad Salman Anjum. I'm the chief mate of InvoiceMate. We've also been using AI and blockchain for disrupting the invoicing, invoice financing, and of course, this is the project I'll not be pitching today, and we'll be talking more with the delegates to discuss how to demystify the AI for professionals in the fintech. So we will start with the introduction. I would like to start from the extreme left, and ladies first, and would like to ask you what's your achievement and contributions in the professional career, especially if that is relevant to the tech or financial services.
Absolutely. So my name is Amira Soliman. I'm the CEO and co-founder for Time Guardian Author. I have 25 years experience into the banking field, starting from Citibank as a credit analyst till I become executive C-level in FAB, heading the sales and distribution and controlling more than 5.6 billion and generating 400 million monthly basis as revenue. Then I moved into the fintech, and from the fintech to the blockchain and the Web3, which I'm doing as of now. AI is a key for us, and it's not new thing which we are talking about it nowadays. It's been adopted by the financial institution might be from 10 years back. It's not something which is coming in now. No, it's long time since the machine learning, since the big data and how we use the big data, since the archiving of the documents. So the banks actually, people say it's a big institution or corporate institution which they are not getting aligned to it, but into the opposite. No, they keep doing projects in order to enhance and improve the customer journey. And I've been actually in multiple positions in order to use and digitalize the process, whether it was a big integration or it was acquisitions. So through all of this, you use the AI.
Excellent. So yes.
Hi, I'm Jonathan. I have a company that's based in Singapore. We work with very smart PhD, Masters in Engineering founders to help them communicate to normal people and be able to sell their products. So a lot of them are AI founders. And My background, I spent my first 10 years in technology. As Henrietta would say, I spent my first 10 years in telecommunications and media. And then the next 10 years I've spent in marketing, so about 20 years. And at the moment we're working with some of the top AI startups in Asia. Everything from document automation to large language models for very obscure small languages like Cantonese and Arabic, for example.
Right. Jonathan, before we go to the Hamid, just a one sensible question. What's in it unsensible?
Yeah, so most decisions are, people think that most decisions are rational. Most decisions are not. We buy things because we like them, and then we find reasons to rationalize them later. So we focus on the unsensible so that to help our clients actually be able to sell.
Makes sense now. I mean,
That was great. Hi guys, my name's Hamid, Director of Growth at Luna PR, which is the leading Web3 PR agency in, I guess I want to say the world, but we're getting there. We help with projects all the way from starter, sort of founder mode, into big institutions like ICP, SUI, Cardano, and the list goes on. But our goal is to really translate the technical jargon that comes with this industry, so the non-natives can understand it. Yeah.
thank you, Karim.
Yeah, so I'm Karim. I'm a co-founder of Flow48, which is a fintech focusing on providing basically lending solution, RBF, so revenue-based financing to SMEs, to small and medium enterprise. And we use a lot of data crunching, AI, machine learning, to be able to cater for this market, or for this segment of the market, which is typically underbanked. And this was the whole idea, actually, of starting that company. On a personal level, so for the first 10 years, let's say, I was into consulting and banking, Citibank. It seems there are quite a few people who are at Citibank here. I was at Citibank in the US, in Jakarta, and then also in UAE. And then after this, I moved to tech 10 years ago, where I was the GM of Uber in Saudi Arabia, so launched Uber in Saudi Arabia, and then stayed a bit into the logistic, last mile at Fetcher. And then after this, I've been in BNPL for a while, and for the last 3 years, founded Flow48. Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Wang. I'm currently a CEO of Changer. It's an ADGM, Abu Dhabi Global Markets licensed crypto bank. We are missioned and envision the future financial services to be done mostly on blockchain. So that's really, actually, I got excited when Mr. Gustav gave us such an impressive speech just now. So my career started from Citibank as well, so similar as Amira, in Tokyo, and I stayed there for about 10 years before I moved to Singapore for the last 11 years. I jumped into this industry about 4 years ago in crypto, starting as an investment, as I've been doing hedge fund for 7-8 years, family offices, and I see there's a huge potential where the younger generations, how much they're going to invest their monies and doing financial analysis is very different than what we are trained, I think, about probably 20 or 30 years ago from CFAs, etc. So that's actually the major, I would say, tick in my mind that they have to actually embrace technology. So the first one is blockchain, not just for investment opportunities, like 1,000% return is so, I would say, reachable, not say easy to do, reachable, but of course, managing risk. And then, when I look at AI, particularly in the last 2 years, what I see, in our organization, we are going to just use it as a tool, but personally, I see it as an accelerator. AI is accelerator, but you need a breaker. You need some brake, actually, to protect you. That's, I think, the blockchain. So how I see these two technologies going to go hand in hand, actually really going to revolutionize our world. Thank you.
Hand in hand for the AI and the Web3, and I actually had a question, starting question as what is the difference between AI and Gen AI? But since we have quite a number of blockchain Web3 practitioners here, and there's again a big buzz with the combination of these two disrupting the financial world, I'll start with this question. And so Web3 and AI. again, in Web3, we have seen a lot of flavors in the last 5-6 years. Every year there is a new flavor in the town. NFTs, I started with ICOs rather, then NFTs, DeFi, then Metaverse, then we had last year RWA. This year is all about the AI, right? Will we see the actual implementation, use cases, or just the tokens coming up in the name of these narratives and again not bringing any kind of a serious adoption?
Right, I agree. I mean, I have to say in terms of mass adoptions, it's still, I think, early stage. But I think last year we have one of the biggest milestones achieved, which is the ETF approval for Bitcoins and Ethereums. And this year we're probably going to have 2 more or 3 Solana XRPs, etc. So this is, I think, where you see the money has to be there. The money will be there, and essentially that's actually getting more people start to see the moves as well as how you can get a, skin in the game. But for example, I mean, thousands of coins could be launched easily on these Solana chains, right? This new token launch through AI agents or just like by someone. This becomes so easy to do within minutes, and to see whether it works or not. The cost of doing a business and try out and failure is so low. So this is, I think, one thing as a just normal investor, not really something relevant. A lot of time could be spent and wasted. But on the other hand, you see what works. I mean, we see probably a few coins works, right? So like Donald Trump's coin, Trump coins, Millennium coins, etc. That gives us a hint, which is important. I think as a human, you need tractions. That's how actually our eyeballs got attracted to certain stuff, etc. And that actually could be, I think, only getting more extremes into the future. But there's another angle. If you look at this, AI won't be just a tool. AI could be the real master behind all this, and that's actually what's going to mobilize in terms of the capitals, in terms of the resources, including the computer powers, everything. And that's, I think, that's what actually really going to be the game changer down the road.
Right, Karim, you want to take it, or? Yeah, I'll give you the other question, and for the blockchain, I'll just give you take it, Amira and Jonathan.
Sure. I have a client called ZKMe. They do something very practical with the blockchain. They do KYC. So you've probably heard of like all of these data breaches. Every time you submit your passport to a bank, nowadays you have to give your passport to practically anyone you sign up for an account for. There's data breach. What these guys do is they look at your ID, process that you're over 18, your name is who you say it is, and then they create a proof on the chain that says, yep, this person, we've verified this person is who they say they are, and they're a male born on this date of birth. And from there, that data is gone. Only the proof exists. So even if you get breached, that doesn't matter. It's just a token that exists on the chain now. With that, you can do a lot of things. You, for instance, let's say that you have had your DNA provided to someone, right? 23andMe. They're in a lot of trouble at the moment. They sold the data that they had for about 900 million. And all the people who had their data sold really had no control over it. What these guys are saying is, well, you should be paid for that. And we can sell your anonymized data, because that's what the researchers really want, and you will get paid for it. So these are some practical tokens, practical uses for these tokens that are actually happening today. And you don't even have to talk about selling coins, right, and speculating on coins.
Wonderful. Amira, you want to quickly add on this one?
So here, actually, when we are talking about the AI and how we can use it through the blockchain or through a meme coin, actually, there is a lot of meme coins coming up or available as of now, which backed up by AI algorithm in order to define what is the best protocol for the DeFi for you. So I believe that the meme coins start becoming much more moving towards a utility kind of and much more credible kind of. So I feel they are start adapting to the AI not only through normal machine learning, but as well how they can use it in order to get for the customer the best rates out of the DeFi, whether it's staking or whatever type they are doing. It's a good use case for it. Not only this, but for the marketing, actually, when we look into the blockchain and what they are doing through the AI agents and how they are creating community, which is corporate doesn't do it in 2 days. They can get up to 2 million of community through an AI agent created through the X, or the Twitter, if you are not aware what's the X. So actually the use case in the blockchain and into the crypto, it's amazing how they are using the AI and how they are adapting to it. So I feel that the corporate need to learn a lot out of what's happening into the blockchain.
Sure. Hamid, I'll just add something on this same question. You guys build the narrative or at least run it for the projects. Mm-hmm. So how much you are seeing this coming in your current portfolio, that they are saying, okay, we want to emphasize on our AI features, or we want to realign or pivot on this AI side? How much you are seeing this happening?
To be honest, on a daily basis, it's should we launch an AI agent, right? That's the question. And what we see in the media, the appetite, the requests we get from the journalists or the opportunities that we get, a lot of it revolves around AI agents because that's the narrative and that's how the industry has worked to date. And if you look at, let's say, what Amira mentioned about meme coins having more utility backing it, like AI agents, for example. At the end of the day, the reality is that something like Fart Coin will outperform it. Because if you look at meme culture, the retail consumers that, I guess, are involved in meme culture, they'll prefer something that is a bit sillier. And you know, I've done a lot of investment into utility-backed meme coins, and it's good for a day or two, and then something PP coin comes out and dominates the market for a day or two. But looking into what our clients are trying to incorporate from an AI perspective, it's brilliant. But at the same time, we don't want to seem or portray the fact that we're taking advantage of a market cycle. So it's interesting how you have to position yourself to not to seem like you're trying to take advantage of your retail investors.
Very hot topic. Looking forward to have this conversation moving forward after we go off stage. And I now move to Karim. Karim, let's get back to the nitty-gritties of AI. We have heard that AI and then a Gen AI or generative AI. Before we move on to the challenges or use cases of these two, if you can simply orient our audience, what's the major differentiation between AI and Gen AI?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, let's say the traditional AI is a bit more data crunching and being able to come up with specific solution or specific answer given a given data trend, getting a fraud out of a big set of data. So there is a lot of learning, and then the learning is kind of repeated from one place to another. And there is often one of the big issues there is the availability of data, because again, for these algorithms to be able to learn, they need a crazy amount of data. And Gen AI is actually the capability to suddenly start to create new things. Not only it could be from one side a piece of art, it could be even data to itself feed the algorithm to learn. And this is something that at Flow we are using, right? So if let's say you need, I don't know, thousands or millions of data points of SMEs to be able to understand, for example, if an SME has some fraud or not, well, the availability of this million of data points is not necessarily very easy to get. But with Gen AI, you can actually generate quote-unquote fictitious SMEs, which are going to help you train this algorithm. So it's really about creation and about the ability to kind of create new data point. And again, like I said, it could be from art, or it could be data, or anything that we can think of.
Right. Do it for me kind of a new economy, which is coming through generative AI. It's not just doing the analytics, it's also doing the reasoning and, of course, performing the next task after those analytics for you. That's the generative AI. We have seen adoption of it through ChatGPT at the end of the 2023, and now almost all the verticals are coming with their own GPTs or the LLM models for the generative AI. We stick to the AI, and now we move to the use cases. And where do you see a good use case in your own observation that little or that piece of AI has been incredible for that industry or for that organization? We start with you.
Sure. I mean, from our daily, work perspective, so the emails, I use AI to generate 50 to 80% of my emails, personal email, corporate emails. I would look at the draft and immediately edit. That takes like probably 1 to 2 minutes. And the second we use is to do business proposals, slides, presentations, or summary of the documents. Like give me 35 pages of a PDF, consultation papers, etc. What's the gist? How should I address this? And if there's anything that structurally I think that is there's always two. But more importantly, I think, given that marketing becomes actually very important in this, especially with a lot of the visual part, not just the text. This actually, I think, is starting to get more in terms of generating designs, etc. So we're starting to adopt this at the moment. But customer analysis so far, we haven't used yet. Yeah, but looking at.
And if you can add something on the financial services side?
Yeah, sure. So again, I mentioned a little bit about fraud detection, and that's something. So we know, everybody who was in banks or everywhere knows that fraud is always a big topic. And the thing, if for a person to do it, is really about the sheer amount of data. But when suddenly you have AI and kind of almost everything become instantaneous, this is a huge thing where you can detect trend, you can detect unusual pattern. So there is a whole fraud part of things which you can analyze an incredibly amount of data and able to detect potential fraud. And again, you can have kind of binary output where there is fraud, or there is no fraud, or you're not even sure, where you can start to add initially maybe some manual work, and then even to have an algorithm to solve there. And the other part, in the case at least for us, for Flow 48, is about the capacity for an algorithm to assess the creditworthiness of a given SME, given there is a lot of missing data. I mean, some of you might be available, like SMEs data are not necessarily super clean or super complete, and there is a need to be able for us to be able to extract the creditworthiness or the underwriting of this, and this is where we use a lot, literally on daily basis, machine learning capabilities.
Wonderful. Hamid, if you just mentioned on a day-to-day basis you are receiving now about AI agents, any genuine use case you have seen recently?
So it's tricky to identify a genuine use case today, just because it is really early, and you want to see people adopt the technology first. I think interesting things that I've seen today are AI KOLs, right? So we all run to influencers or key opinion leaders for opinions, right? We want to know what the standard should be, and I think AI-generated KOLs are so interesting because they have genuine opinions. They can conversate with you. They don't promote anything intrinsically. They are completely unbiased, right? I think the idea that KOLs or influencers need to be humans, I think, again, it's a bit controversial to say, but I think it is becoming less and less important. That's one use case specifically, but looking into the different GPTs and stuff, it's making me super lazy. I write my emails with ChatGPT, and Sora does my creative, and it's on a day-to-day basis. What you learn from AI is insane.
So I just briefly add on this KOL thing. Those who haven't heard this is a new word for influencers, key opinion leaders. In Web3, we give them a name of a KOL, which is, I think, last year we came up with this thing. Anyways, Jonathan, your favorite use case of AI?
Favorite use case? I hate paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
It's the worst thing in the world. Why did we invent it? But now we persist with it. So I think one of the great things is, especially for financial services, and even in corporates in the back office, they end up with so much paper, right? And one of my favorite use cases is seeing basically a client take a box full of papers, could be invoices, bills of lading, contracts, complaint letters, dumping it into a machine, and the machine knows what should be done with this piece of paper, gives a recommendation, and sends it to the system or the person that needs to deal with it. And they just have to go yes or no. I think that's probably the greatest time saver in the world, and probably my personal favorite use of AI.
So I'm hiring you as our advocate, InvoiceMate advocate, because that's exactly what InvoiceMate does.
Yeah.
Over to you, Amira.
So for startup, we are using it for everything, for our minutes of meeting, for our business proposals, for our emails. It's used in everything. KOL, it's one of the things which I'm promoting all my, actually all my activities, whether in the protocol of Time Guardian or the protocol of Asar the payments, which converting crypto to payments. All I'm using KOL AI agent in order to promote it through the X. So for us, actually, in order, the big pain of the startup, which is the low contracts. So I'm using as well the AI as a first step in order to issue the MOIs, the MOUs, and then at later stage, I'm going for a lawyer to close it. So optimize chat GPT and using the customer service and managing the community, it's all AI. So I'm optimizing at all stages, everything through the AI. So it's a very good use case, and startups actually they are using it very well.
It's all AI, it's all good use cases, but at the same time, everything has two sides. So AI is not all goody-goody. So there are, of course, some challenges around it in its adoption. So now I turn to those challenges with our panelists, starting again from Amira. So you just mentioned about all the good use cases of AI, a lot of adoption. Where do you see the challenges for the financial services?
Okay, so let me tell you about the challenges. AI is a learning journey. So you start it, it's a machine learning. Machine learning needs a big database in order to learn and generate a proper answer for you. So it's still till now require a review. So don't expect that whatever will come in, you can send it directly to your customers. It will be big pain because it can be a different answer than what it's based. You feed in something, you will get out. So if you don't know how to feed into the system, you can get a wrong answer. So you need to proofread what you are getting out of it and send it. If I'm a big organization as well, in order to apply the IVR, and the IVR, it's fully automated, and the agent, he will be replying you and answering all your queries. It's not an easy thing when you go to corporate, because they have a big process in the back end, they have a big policies, big procedures in order to adapt it. So it's sometimes very tough to adapt to AI. Require a big proofing, require a journey of data analysis and review and then implementation. So maybe startup can do it easily, but when we talk about corporate, it's a process which is huge, which needs to go through it. So we need to understand the adoption will be a little bit slower when it comes to them, and we need to respect this, to be honest.
Thank you. Jonathan, your take on the challenges on the AI adoption in financial services?
I think it has the potential to make us stupid if you overly rely on it. So it is, I call AI average. So if you're not really good at a particular task, then it's going to lift you up. But if you are particularly good at a task, it's going to pull you down. So I think you have to just be very critical in where you apply it. So in things like document automation, it's going to be great. In things like anti-fraud, it's going to be great just because it's looking at such giant data sets. But sitting down in front of an ultra-high net worth client and trying to explain why you're doing this to his portfolio is a relationship thing. So I think we just have to be very judicious in our deployment of it.
Agree 100%. Yes, Ahmed.
I don't really have a specific example for financial services. I think what I see on a daily basis, just because we get so many resumes at Luna PR and we send tasks and sort of to assess candidates, it's very, very easy.
Let me, if I be specific, any QL, AI QL has made a mess of some PR for you or something like that?
No, I can't think of one, to be honest with you. I think there's a project called HoloZone, which basically emulates big figures like Trump and Andrew Tate, and it's funny I'm mentioning those two names synonymously. But when you speak to them, it's voice recognition. You have a conversation with them back and forth, and they're supposed to understand the whole history behind the person that's emulating. And the cool thing, the setback with it is that it still has trouble identifying when it speaks to someone different. It uniforms so all the data that you're feeding into it is coming from one single sort of data center. It won't be able to distinguish me from you, right? So it's gonna say, okay, my name's Hamid, your name is, and then move on from there, but it won't identify you're two different people. It's hard for me to give you an answer on this,
Right.
sorry.
In a summary, it's still not that intelligent.
Yeah.
We can say it still needs more learning. Yes, Karim.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, it's a bit redundant to what was said before. It's just over-reliance on it. One, I mean, the lazy part also, which you mentioned, right? So it's okay to be lazy, I think, in a few things, but where you can really add value and do things, it's good to be able to use them to kind of put you kind of the framework. But then there are definitely a few places where you have to add some human intelligence or human check to it, because there are some times where the output is just a disaster. It could be like an example where simply note taking. You go to a note, if simply, and it happened, like rather than saying, oh, we don't want this, the note are we want this, then the whole meeting notes are just completely wrong, and the whole meeting is going the other way. And then, so, yeah, there are some risks, definitely.
Absolutely. Over-reliance is a big risk, could be a big risk, yes.
Sure. I mean, I probably want to take it a little bit longer in terms of perspective. I say we're probably going to go through 3 phases. The first phase, we call it learning phase. Essentially, it's just now we learn how to use it, how the AI is capable and incapable, but also AI learning how they are capable and they are advancing. So this stage, I think we're currently in. It may take short for the next 3 to 5 years, but we get to the next phase. That's actually we need to mutually respect and learn to work with each other and live together. So you may be talking to someone you may not identify as a human or AI, as your work, or just like on a daily life, and they don't see you as a different, I would say, object. Or so this is actually what I tell my children is you really need to get used to when your classmates or your colleagues could be half the AI or just robots. That's something that I think I built a long time ago into the future. The third phase is actually potentially could run into the crisis phase, where we have an identity issue, and they may have identity issue. AI will develop in the speed that we won't be able to calculate, no matter what the best estimates based on scientists, etc. That's different. That's based on our human understanding. The AI just developed as a technology, regardless of what we think or control. I don't think anytime soon we'll move, and I don't hope that's going to come soon. Let's enjoy the first 2 phases.
Let's enjoy the first 2 phases, and of course with that, on the same note, a lot of people have fear about AI making us lose our jobs, or it will like create some kind of a friction between humans. No, it's not. Humans are not going anywhere. It's just a new way of new skill sets you need to adopt to use the AI and do better than what we have been doing. I have other questions, but since we are behind the schedule, I will respect the time, and rather I ask the question, I'll shift to the audience and we'll take 2 questions. I think first will be from Gustavo. And then of course we'll come to you. So
you will find this a weird question coming from an engineer, but I still need to ask it. I've been involved in artificial intelligence for the last 30 years. Artificial intelligence wasn't invented last week. It's been around forever. We just have better computers, that's all. So my question is the following. The main challenge for artificial intelligence to dominate everything is whether computers can handle or not emotions. All right? So my question to everybody in this room here is, do you think that at the current rate of growth and development of the computer field, we will have computers that will handle emotions eventually?
No. And listen, I'm not an AI expert, but I listen to the AI experts, and they're divided. But I have a very simple analogy. A computer is not going to be able to have emotions until it can be punched in the face. There's how many decisions you make growing up. You do something stupid, you get punched in the face, you fall over, and then that gives you a very strong feedback loop. You get embarrassed, you get shamed, you have joy, you have celebration, until a machine is able to process that many operations in real life, in everyday life, it won't. And the best scientists we have can't even define what consciousness is.
So let me challenge you on that. I hope computers will not be able to handle emotions. But what you just described as the process through which humans handle emotions is called iteration. You get punched in the face, you go down, you get up, you learn. Remind you that iteration is the way we teach a computer to recognize a cat. We give the computer millions and millions of pictures of different cats, and at the end of the day, the Tesla car recognizes a cat in front of them and doesn't go through. So that is exactly what my problem is, and I hope we will never get to a situation like that. But I personally have a doubt, and that is a problem. An engineer should never have a doubt about that. I do have a doubt, because it's called iteration. And that's what we're asking computers to do via, especially relearning, right? Learning from mistakes. So I would love to say no to that. I would really like to say that. I just can't.
All right.
Yes. I probably take a different perspective. I totally think the AIs or the computers will one day actually reach to a point, I won't call it singularity, but that's the point where emotions is programmable. So why I see this, just like if you go really into the finalities of the elements, what we do here in terms of quantum computing, quantum physics, really, I mean, things can be actually as finite as somehow we can understand. And emotion is just part of things we use our human language, no matter what it is, Chinese, English, French, etc., to define that thing. But if you define happy in your language and my language, we probably perceive differently. But that in computer language should be identical. So this is, I think, that's actually the uniqueness, how they could develop something much faster. Human, I think, based on whatever mythology you believe, there's one time that everybody speaks the same language, they don't need to translate. And that's actually the human becomes very powerful. The God actually said, okay, you can't do this, you have to speak different languages, they're separated. I don't personally believe in it, but that's actually where you can see the computer is doing that way. The computer that learned in Japan how to treat an old man to take care of it and get his feeling is easily copied to a computer in China and the US and Latin America. This is something that we can't do in human worlds. So emotions, I see this is just a copy of a code. To some extent, it's just how we define that.
Right, yes.
Thank you very much. I come from the compliance side, so I see things differently from the majority of those people that they are on the other side. So my worry, always in my work, is how to explain to anybody asking questions of what it is. Can AI be explainable, or it is what it is?
Yes, with Gen AI, definitely. It is something that is now not just doing analytics for compliance or compliance adherence. It can also guide someone as a compliance, like a practitioner. That, okay, these are the shortcomings, and I can plug in if you want me to fetch data from here and there, I can do your job. So this is something now making the job easier for not just the compliance, other like hectic kind of a tedious kind of processes. So yeah, now with the Gen AI, and especially now agentic AI modulations can definitely do work, and that means that they can definitely do beyond just like a certain analytics or data crunching.
I really know what it does, but the problem is that it is so subjective, if you ask me, that it is not easily acceptable to have the same result by all. That is, I use it. I use AI, I do something, and it is for my benefit. I'm in the financial services, I have to explain. I have to explain to third parties, to regulators, etc. Do they perceive the same? Is it explainable?
I just would like to add, and then we'll go to the panelists, that we have to treat Gen AI agents or any application we are using for the Gen AI as a baby, like currently they are in the infancy stage. We have to make them learn, train, obviously through the data, through the scenarios, and then expect the real adoption, or sorry, real value, maybe perhaps at earliest in 2-3 years from now. The more they will be working with you, the more they will be I think proficient. For now, it's too early to expect a lot from Gen AI agents. So this is my take, and over to others.
I can give you a real case study from Hong Kong, one of the markets we work in. The regulator has required that if an AI is being used for financial services, it has to be auditable, and the decision it can't be a black box, it has to be a clear box. And based on that, technologies have been developed to actually service that requirement. So it just takes the regulator to think forward enough to make it a requirement, and it will happen. And so that now there are auditable AIs available for financial institutions.
Yes, you.
I totally understand from your perspective, because I came from a hedge fund background, and one of the things that we're trying to sell some quant-based strategies to those sovereign wealth funds and big clients is tell me why you get 2% extra alpha here. And they said, it's based on the algorithm. And they said, who is responsible for it? One is good money, one is making a return, no problem. No one really asks any more questions. But you will make a loss. It's the hard moment. You can't explain. And you can't explain in a way human can accept. So it has to get to the responsible person, whoever is writing that code. It's a similar kind of things where you actually put those, autopilot cars on the streets, right? One is making a decision, like trying to avoid a accident by just crashing into some little whatever child and trying to save the other 5 people on the car. Is that decision made responsible for the company of the car, or the algorithms, or whoever? So this is the thing. I don't think currently we have any solutions yet.
Perfect. So today, the whole day, I have seen the agenda. I think more than 50% of the content is around AI. So I'll leave it here. It's a very fascinating, interesting topic, and a lot can be discussed with the esteemed panelists. But of course, we have to give it to other panelists as well, who are also coming and talking about different facets on AI adoption. So with that, I'd like to give a lot of credit to our panelists to set a very good foundation for the whole day. And thank you so much. And looking forward to have more conversation off the stage. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So it's time to honor our panelists. So I request our moderator to honor our panelists with the memento. Muhammad Salman Anjum. So I request you to honor a panelist.
Karim. Oh, sorry.
I request the panel member to be on the stage so that we can have a group photo.
Amira?
I'll show you a picture. Yes, good to see you. Good morning.
Karim.
Coming for a couple, right?
My favorite panelist. We will talk about
So I request all the panel members to please gather on the stage for a group photo. A big round of applause for the opening panel session. Now, let's have a next special talk. Now, please join welcoming Mr. Walid Savitanko, founder and CEO of Changer.ae from UAE, who will share his insight on empowering business by capitalizing on Web3 technology. Big round of applause.
Good morning. Check. Now it's good. Good morning, guys, to all of you. Good morning. How are you feeling? All good? Yeah, it's a good way of getting the real alpha from the fields to connect to the experts. And I'm really impressed by the amount of topics around AI, around Web3, and around the tokenization part, as Gustavo was talking about as well. And my name is Vlad. I'm going to talk today about Web3 and how exactly we have a Web3 technology that really empowers the businesses, because I have a background by building businesses all my life. I've got 2 exits. I was in the service businesses. I was in the IT platform software development businesses. And now, luckily, I got into Web3, and this is really amazing, right? So I'm a founder and CEO at Changer.ae. This is a venture Web3 studio where we are baking and scaling startups. We are helping them to define the vision, to develop the roadmap, as well as the pulling off Web2 companies and saying, hey, there's a bunch of stuff in the Web3 that can empower you, that can enhance your performance, which is really good. So just to know a little bit better the technical jargon I can use today, who holds any Bitcoin? Raise your hands up. Bitcoiners? Yeah, this is good. Who's heard of meme coins here? All right, less people. Who holds any meme coins here? All right, not so many degenerate Web3 people, right? So obviously, a lot of experts and a lot of business people are misconstruing Web3 topic because they're equalizing Web3 to crypto, which is not. And they also tend to equalize Bitcoin to crypto. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, that's for sure, but now crypto took a little bit different approach whereby we're having a lot of companies and a lot of tokens are launched per day. And the whole topic right now is the Bitcoin is really the most trustworthy and reliant technology that is used for a peer-to-peer transaction to be able to give people the borderless payments, to be able to give people this permissionless network that is fully governed by the compute power that is baked in the technology. But now, then the question remains, what is Web3, right? People are saying, hey, Web3 is Bitcoin. Hey, Web3 is crypto. Hey, Web3 is AI. Hey, Web3 is whatever. But how personally we define at Changer.ae the Web3 for us is just the next era of the internet, right? You've got Web 0, where you just can consume the information from blogs. We've got Web 1, where you were able to participate and actually write some content to contribute to the network. We've got Web 2, kind of social media boom. Now you can consume. Now you can also create. Now you can also interact somehow with the content. And in the Web 3, the whole idea is now you have keys. You have keys to your data. You have keys to really how you're interacting and what you do in this Web 3 fancy world. And when you have decentralized technology, which is like 99% of the cases, let's be real, companies in the Web3 are not decentralized fully yet, even though they are saying, hey, we're completely decentralized, we are running things out on the like distributed ledger, whatever, but it's not that perfect as the stuff with the AI. AI is just the child right now who is trying to learn more, and we have to feed AI with the exact information to be able to get the really valuable data sets that can be exaggerated there. Now, Web3 technology in its core, I personally define Web3 as the next era of the internet, whereby we have three main components. These are three main cornerstones that are buzzing every technical, every business, every financial. By the way, this is called World Financial Council, and 50% of the topics are AI related, other 30 probably crypto related, and 20% of these topics remains to be explored, but still. A lot of dominant chunk of mindshare right now is in the Web3. So Web3, three components, right? First one is decentralization. Why do we need that? To be able to create scalable systems that are not governed by the central entity that can say, hey, I'm a Facebook, I'm Mark Zuckerberg, right? Today I have a bad mood, so let me just turn off any viral topic on the X, let's say, headlines, right? I don't like personally fighting, so let Facebook shadow ban all the fighting topics for today. And this is really not something that we were looking for such long. When the internet early days just came around, people said, all right, internet is a good stuff, but then it became controlled by the corporates. It became controlled by the huge organization who said, hey, this is the piece of code really hard to understand for normal people, for normies as we call them. So let us raise some money, create the company, develop the code, take over for the whole backbone and the back end of the business. And for the front end, we'll get users like social media, like vlogs, like Google, whatever, but we do hold their data. So decentralization. The next up is really important, which is the immersive experiences. AR, VR is really I would say is really the buzzword in the town currently. You can do a lot of immersive experiences, like started from the early ways to kind of get the first attempts with Zoom, with video calls, whatever. Now you have this augmented reality. The last cycle, the last crypto cycle, the hot word was the metaverse. Everyone was saying, hey, metaverse is about to change the way how we think, how we build businesses. Didn't get a massive spike up, but even though we've got the shot of this metaverse in the immersive experience, hey, this is me, come around, you're in Singapore, me in Dubai, this is my, let's say, this is my office, you can get in there, you can interact with our like company and the guys who are working in the company as well, without any sort of plans to hop on the plane and go to our office in real life. That's the beautiful part about this technology, even though it's still not mature yet. And the third idea of the Web3, which is really important, this part of AI that gives the personalized layer to everything. Hey, me right now can write thousands of emails in the click of a button, actually, and get a higher percentage rate. Hey, me can now replace a lot of actually admin type of work by just implementing AI to my frameworks. This is the thing. And the whole part and the importance of why a lot of businesses come into and starting at least to give it a try to the Web3 is simply because, hey, how do we scale? Hey, how do we distribute more stuff? Hey, how do we grow? Because we are for profit, right? The idea of business is to make money, and then technology just empowers the way how businesses are making money. Let's say real world assets, right? You've got the gold mine somewhere around like on planet Earth in Australia. Now you can tokenize your asset that you've bought a share for and then put this on a decentralized ledger while essentially democratizing the access to this asset. So now I don't have to be like the tycoon with the billions of dollars on cash to be able to get an access to the piece of gold that does what? That just grows over time. It is good for me as an investment. It is a really hard cash investment. Now, tokenization part really allows you to create a wider distribution. because you're lowering the entry fees. You're essentially lowering the barriers for the simple people to come around and use your product. The next idea, which is just, I'm just in the permanent state of awe. I'm just amazed by this technology, because the network effect, this is one single, the most powerful idea of the internet. And the Web3 really adopted it even better, because now I can build the community. Everyone is saying, hey, but the community is a group of followers on your Instagram. Hey, but the community is just subscribers. No. These subscribers and followers and communities, they are two different chunks of people, okay? So the first one, followers, hey, just consuming your content, don't care who you are, you're just, funny influencer. That's why I'm sometimes taking on your stories. But if I'm becoming the community member, let's say, this is exactly why meme coins communities are so powerful. Because everyone there has something called vested interest. The higher the asset flies, the better it is for everyone who is baking the price of this asset. You may ask me, hey Vlad, but what is the underlying technology, the piece of value of these meme coins, of this internet? Even if you're talking about the utility crypto coins, there are still a lot of them who are just, sorry for my French, but they are just scamming people, right? They're just saying, hey, we're decentralizing the logistics of bananas from Africa to UK, whatever. No one still needs that, but we do this, right? Let us raise some money, let us fit into the narrative, got a lot of millions of dollars, spend this on the Lamborghinis, on whatever we want, and afterwards we'll see. And so the underlying product really is a perceived value. And the perceived value, Larry Fink said, the CEO of the biggest hedge fund in the world, around $15 trillion under management. So they said, we are not really living in the financial markets. We live in the hope markets. So the better you are at dialing up the intensity knob of the hope that you are injecting into the community, into the market, whatever, the more people are aping into your idea, because the hope is all about, hey, tomorrow is going to be better than today, right? And then you just starting to implement the solutions of how exactly you are, A, building the hope, B, you are distributing this hope on the massive scale. Just put the thing on the rail. Let's say you're building the coffee shop, right? The whole idea of your coffee shop is to create the profitable business, is to create the business with a good product that really sticks and people love it. And now when you take a look at the customer acquisition costs, they do what? They just skyrocket. Everyone does ads, everyone uses influencers, everyone is just spamming the internet all over the place because they are creating their business, and now you're competing with them. So the customer acquisition cost for the piece of coffee that you are selling really increasing. Now, how do you compete? Well, if you can build the community, which we are circling back to my initial point, of the people who are really like all ears, who are really all into what you are doing, this is great because first, you are getting really good longevity, which is the key of the business. Any investor who are taking the considerations to invest in your business, and if you have some good longevity with the LTV, with the always paying recurring fees customers, well, your business gets added value like 5x compared to if you would have just, having some once in a year payment random. The first one is distribution. The second one really is the idea of me saying to 3 friends of my network, hey, Gustavo does really good coffee. I really like it. So let me just, introduce you to this beautiful coffee. Now me and my friends come in there to the coffee shop. Now Gustavo gets 3 people who essentially buying this free of marketing spends for the company. And so the community now is really the key, because the businesses who wouldn't be able to develop the community, who wouldn't be able to just strike their message and throw the message into the market, and so this message can stick, they wouldn't be able to survive the arms race of spending a lot, because at the same time, maybe you're doing like the financial consulting, business advisory, whatever. There are same people who now are enhanced by AI agents, so they're probably as smart as you are, not that experienced, but maybe that smart as you are. And now the question begins, how do you conquer the consumer? How do you make sure that the consumer exactly follows the route that you laid out for them? And this is a really tricky question, because marketing, network effect, the referrals, whatever, you need to understand how do you lure away the customer from any other fields that were laid out for them. And this is the key. And this is where Web3, when